Greyson was a surprise. He came 5 weeks early. We were ready for him to be here, but not all the rest of the things afterwards. And then we got his diagnosis of the congenital diaphragmatic hernia. I remember the pediatrician coming in, and I was still like kind of getting in recovery, still kind of like all the things. They had taken him to the NICU, and she said, well, it looks like he has a congenital diaphragmatic hernia. And we were like, okay, not really absorbing the situation and not knowing kind of the gravity of what was about to happen. And she said it so calm, and she was so collected when she did it. And so we were like, okay. We had to take it one step at a time. There was no way to just absorb and be like, what's 5 years from now gonna even look like? We had both of our moms here kind of switching back and forth just so we could be at the hospital and then get some rest and, different things. So we had a wonderful support system.
So I first came to meet Greyson when he was about 6 months old. He was referred to physical therapy. He had been in the hospital and had multiple surgeries throughout that first 6 months of his life. He was also born premature. So lots of hospital stays, kind of leading up to having a lot of strength deficits, gross motor delays. So our biggest goal is to help him bridge the gap between the skills that he is doing now and the skills that are expected for his age. To really give him those skills to navigate his environment safely so that he can play and be a normal kid and interact with his family.
At that time, he was not taking anything by mouth. He was completely fed with his G button and was experiencing lots of vomiting and severe oral aversion. So he was referred to us for feeding therapy. And so we started seeing him. He was 100% dependent on that G button. And so we worked on trying the bottle, but eventually we just said, babies aren't on bottles forever, so let's just kind of forego that and really just work on the oral aversion and trying to get him to tolerate even having a sip of water. A simple sip of water in his mouth would make him gag to the point of throwing up.
He missed for 7 weeks of his life not learning how to breastfeed or drink from a bottle. So trying to catch him up on something that's supposed to be kind of from birth was pretty hard for him. So speech therapy has been kind of instrumental with getting past some of that, like you touch his tongue and he gags. So so those are the first kind of 3 services we got.
He is making great progress. Family works with him all the time and really helping us carry over those skills that we're working on and really supporting Greyson to be able to really develop and become who Greyson was made to be.
At first when we brought him home, I was like, oh, he'll have his G button out in a year. He'll be a normal baby. No, that was obviously not realistic. He just came off oxygen a couple months ago more permanently, and now he's having his feeding tube. So you just have to take that one step of, okay, maybe his feeding tube will be here for a few years.
Kids, they are resilient, and it's the parents that it's a really hard thing for parents to see their kids gagging and vomiting. And so you have to really encourage them and educate them and be there for them and saying, it will get better, I promise. Greyson is such a happy little boy.
He's making huge headway in trying to just get to be a normal kiddo.
But it's also super encouraging that there's somebody who has a plan, who's doing it with you, that is kind of helping you through it. And it's not just hey, if this doesn't work, sorry. It's you find another way, you find a different avenue.
I love working at West Texas Rehab Center because of the care and the quality of care that we give our patients. I love being able to tell the patient, no matter what you need, we're going to be able to provide it. Whether that is a new type of treatment or actual piece of equipment, we're never going to tell the family no. So we are able to provide those things. And if we don't have it, we're going to find how to get it for you. Also, just the fact that we're able to see patients regardless of financial situation. So that's the other thing that I love telling families. They come in and say, well, I'm not sure if our insurance is going to cover it, or right now we're in between insurances and I don't know if we're going to be able to come here. And I tell them, that's not a problem. Don't worry about that.
I think he's going to need it for at least a little while longer. He has a lot of milestones to still meet. If you're going through it, just know that there's an end in sight and there's people who can help you.
Oh, what an incredible story. Of course, you know, Mom and Dad, we got Leah and Brad here with us, and Lindsay Billings, who does speech, and then Whitney Brandon, who does orthotics. Now, y'all have all been a part of Greyson's life, and so I want to talk to you, Leah and Brad. Having somebody here locally and having relationships with these folks, and you know, being able to create relationships because y'all see each other pretty often. What is that like?
Hello. No, it's wonderful. You know, we've gone when we started. We gone went twice a week, and kind of shifted now to once a week, and it's just been awesome to kind of get guidance on how to navigate getting him caught up, like we kind of talked on the video, and it's just been wonderful.
Yes, and we see his big smile. He goes to them. I mean, it's so, you know, talk about a little bit about, you know, as a parent, kind of going through this, but having that support system through the therapist.
Yeah, I think it's like just super, just impactful. Like we talked on the video, like you come home and you're not really prepared with what to do when you left the hospital. They kind of give us a little bit of some guidance, and here's how you work his feeding tube, and not much more with, hey, how do you get them caught up on things that they miss? So everyone has been wonderful with how to work with feeding, how to work with rolling, crawling that he didn't get in the hospital. So.
Wow. Okay, so speaking of, you know, feeding, we think of speech therapy as, you know, speaking, but Lindsay, talk a little bit about that, the process that people may not realize that's part of your job.
Sure, yeah. Greyson has been one that has had a special place in my heart because when he first started with us, food was not a positive thing in his life, and to most of us food is a big deal, and as a family and, you know, just socially we eat when we're around people, and so that's really hard on the whole family. So we just work really hard on trying to get him to tolerate more foods, and I actually walked over earlier and he was snacking on some foods, and they told me that he ate his meal tonight.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, definitely.
it's a big deal. It's a big deal to us. So he's made so much progress, and a lot of that has to do with Leah and Brad. They're amazing. They take everything we say, run with it, times 1,000. I think Brad probably has like his own therapy gym at the house that he's put together. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And speaking of progress, Whitney, we'll go to you. We saw a super cute helmet with some space-themed just all over planets, a rocket, everything. So talk a little bit about, you know, how important that is.
Yeah, so the cranial helmet is just one more service that West Texas Rehab is able to provide for the patients. We're able to collaborate with therapy services. That way the patient can get all their services under one roof. They can come one day and get all their appointments, and we can just coordinate that to make it easier on the parents, the patients, the caregivers. Cranial ray helmets, we are the only provider of cranial helmets west of Fort Worth all the way to El Paso.
Wow.
So that is a big deal that we are able to provide that service for patients. One thing too is that most insurances consider these cosmetic, and so they do not cover them. However, we do not agree with that, and that does not keep West Texas Rehab from providing the service for our patients. We are very, very fortunate with our community support to be able to provide services like that to West Texas Rehab. We have been very blessed by the Archer family, who has specifically helped us provide services exclusively to cranial helmets for our patients to make sure that they get it regardless of insurance.
Yeah, that is definitely a round of applause, definitely. That's absolutely outstanding. Now, Brad, back to you. We talked a little bit about this, you know, before, but if there was something that you would want, you know, people to take away from your family's story, I know that might be difficult to narrow it down, but what would that be?
Probably just kind of like I think you spoke about at the beginning. Like there's things out there. There's a community out there, community service out there for families like this, and you need to kind of look a little bit, but it's just an amazing, you know, experience we've had with West Texas Rehab.
Absolutely, Mom. What are you thinking?
Same. Honestly, I don't think there are words.
Yeah.
There's really not, because again, we came home from just chaos, and West Texas helped us navigate the chaos.
Yeah.
And that is I don't think you can put a price, you can't put a moment, you can't put a word to it, to be honest.
Wow, definitely. Yeah, it leaves you speechless, the kindness and generosity, you know, and I'm sure y'all have experienced that firsthand every time you walk through the doors.
Absolutely every time. Yes.
Most definitely. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. A round of applause, everyone. Thanks.